Hi, hello. Welcome to the episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is May the 12th, 2026. Hopefully this episode finds you well, in good spirits and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. Happy Tuesday to ya. Hopefully the day treated you well. Hopefully the day treated you nice. As for me, it treated me right. It was a good day. No complaints. We got up. We got ourselves together. We got after it. Got to work. There was enough work to keep me where I was supposed to be for 4 hours, so that was good. And then for the remaining 3, we just did putbacks. So pretty standard day, at least the new standard day. Post that, we went to the gym. Gym was busy. We're back to being, full busy Tuesday situation. I kind of just got in where I fit in. Just did some filler work, but filler work felt good. Excuse me, got a little burp action there in the start. I did get in some core work today, so that felt good. I really went for it to kind of, make up a little bit. Got a few extra reps in. That was nice. And then we did 30 minutes of cardio. So yeah, overall, good gym sessions, like I said, especially for Tuesday. And then came home, had my stretch, had my snack, and did some research for today's episode. So here we are. So yeah, let's go ahead and do our startup and let's get into the news. I wanted to say sorry again, mea culpa, for last night's little debacle. Sorry I had to slice it up in parts. If I was just, had the skill, had the acumen, I could have just edited that together and we wouldn't have to do that. But, alas, I just said, oops. And I literally realized it right after I was done eating, about to upload the episode, that I just hadn't finished the episode. So it was such a strange thing, but hey, so it goes. But hopefully you enjoyed, that little extra that really wasn't extra. All right. From CBS News. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer rejects mounting calls to resign, even from his own party. All right. Now, this is a story I initially really wasn't planning on covering because at this point, I don't think that actually Keir Starmer is going to lose power. I don't think he's going to resign. I don't think there's going to be a new prime minister in the Labour Party to rise up and take his place. But calls have become so mounting from this last, I want to say minor election. They have the actual name of it in here, but the pressure has been ratcheting up and up and up, seemingly with the day. So I figured, hey, let's go ahead and talk about this a little bit. Let's get into the guts. Let's get into the bangers and mash of it, and and we'll call it cover from there. At least until the thing pops. Which, hey, I might be wrong, and it might pop sooner than I expected. But anyway, British Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer insisted Tuesday that he will get on with governing, rejecting growing calls from within his own party for him to step aside, which have been intensified by multiple resignations from his cabinet. In the wake of disastrous results in local elections last week, a fifth of all members of the UK Parliament from Starmer's own Labour Party have now called for him to step down, and 4 members of his cabinet resigned Tuesday in an effort to force him to quit. Jess Phillips, the National Minister of Safeguarding, Alex Davies-Jones, Minister for Victims and Tackling Violence Against Women and Girls, Zubir Ahmed, Parliamentary Undersecretary of State of Health, Innovation and Safety, and Mattia Fanbula, Minister of Devolution, Faith and communities all announced their resignations on Tuesday. People are crying out for change. Fembule wrote in her resignation letter to the prime minister, "The public does not believe that you can lead this change, and nor do I." Yeah, I feel like the last thing he had kind of said to the people was he was like starting to talk about like fucking Brexit again or whatever. And I just remember hearing that. And I'm like, brother, that's too little. It's too late for some shit like that. The people have like been thinking you were stinky since the Peter Mandelson shit. But I think even before that, there was this vibe of like, okay, Labor's in power. They're back in power. All right, let's get to some true like steak and potatoes, like socialist policy. You got nothing. Just no movement, no fucking motion. You got Keir Starmer coddling up to Donald Trump and really not doing anything. And the pluckiest he's been with is this Iran situation, which I've talked about, which essentially is like, oh, we're getting in a defensive stance about it. We're only defending our bases, and if we're attacked them, we'll do something. But we're not going to help them. We're not going to help Donald Trump. That's the strongest effort you've put out. And I think it was just one of those things where after these elections, which were a bellwether to say, hey, we are not satisfied, people are like, yeah, man, we got to fucking do something. Because if we just fucking limp along here till the next election, we're not going to be any better than the Tories. But I think newsflash, fucking spoilers, you're not any better than the fucking Tories. So that is why there was like 1,000 fucking seats that were lost. And a lot of seats went to the far right, what is it, Reform Party, I forget what the fucking name is, whatever, boo to them. But then also the Greens made some strides, made some headways, and that's like the second time I've been hearing about them. So that aspect is good, but I feel like the media even is pushing for it. I feel like it's almost in the air that like the Reform Party is going to be next up if the Labour Party can't correct the ship, which seemingly that they can't. Because once again, Keir Starmer's talking about goddamn Brexit like he can do something about that shit. And like, even if you did, it's not going to fix this affordability issue that you are in, that America has dragged the whole fucking world in. You're cooked on that shit, and they know it. So it's just kind of like, I guess we'll do vibe shit. I guess we'll, we will cry about anti-Semitism and we'll beat up protesters who are talking about Gaza or Lebanon or any of these fucking situations happening, any of the atrocities that are being committed and being enabled by UK, the US, and the Western hegemony. Yeah, we're just going to beat those guys up. What is it? Fuck the PLO, the PLA, whatever it is. That is what the Labour Party is doing. And everyone's like, this is obnoxious. This is useless. And essentially, it's looking like we got to do something. So, AKA, we got to change suits. We got to switch guys or gals, whoever. But I don't know if that's really going to lead to any kind of real change. But anyway, let me go ahead and read a little bit more. On Monday, 6 lower-ranking ministerial aides quit, and several senior members of Starmer's governing cabinet urged him to set out a plan for his resignation and to hold a party leadership contest, according to the Guardian newspaper. But speaking Tuesday morning with his cabinet members, Starmer was defiant. "I take responsibility for these election results, and I take responsibility for delivering the change we promised," said the embattled prime minister. I'm skipping ahead a little bit. If 20% of all the Labour Party's elected members of Parliament can agree on an alternative figure to head the party, which with Labour's current 403 seats in the House of Commons would mean 81 MPs, they can effectively force him out of the role and the country's top job with it. At least 80 MPs have publicly called for Starmer's resignation, according to the BBC, but they have not all backed the same alternative candidate. And that may be a very high bar to clear, with at least 3 names of potential Starmer replacements being bandied about by politicians and political pundits. Let's see. Essentially, Starmer said, okay, yeah, if you guys can trigger it, then fine, but like, you have to trigger it. I'm not leaving until you do. Let's see here. But also they could, all the members of his party could just resign, which I think is funny. And because it does like harken back to just like old, just parliament rule, parliament style. Like I've only heard about that in history books, even though I don't know, maybe it happens relatively in the modern age. I don't fucking know. But anyway, that would be interesting. And it would make me guffaw if happened. They're like, dude, we hate your vibe so much. Goodbye. And really, this is all a thing of Starmer's own making. I mean, you have the Mandelson shit that really did kick this off in a bad way where everyone's like, this fucking sucks. This guy fucking sucks. But he hired the guy. At the end of the day, he put the man on the team. I mean, he got, his one Morgan dude or whatever, who was obviously a dude who helped assemble all that shit. But it doesn't matter. He knew. And he was like, oh, I know. I made a mistake. Oh, I'm so sorry. And it's like, dude. But not only that, you kicked out any and all the people who were going to try to make any kind of real change, any kind of real, socialist reform with the Labor Party. You fucking stodgied this whole shit up. So you more or less were just a Tory light thing, which is what I think was the grand master plan for the Labor Party. I don't know, way back. I don't know, before I was even fucking born or whatever. I don't know, I'm only loosely grabbing at things I've learned a little bit here and there. But this is a thing. Starmerism is a thing. And, he kicked out Corbyn or whatever the fuck the other guy was. It was kind of a rival for him. And it's like, okay, man, well, now you run the party. Now this is your party. You got it. And this is what you're doing with it. And it's like, everyone hates you. Everyone's booing you. You look like shitty Dilbert. Like, I don't know, man. It's not surprising in the least bit. And I don't know. I'm a bloke sitting in fucking good old Ohio. Oh, I don't know. I think even Stephen Wonder could have seen this shit coming. It really just seems like only a matter of time of when he steps down. Is it going to be now? Is it going to be like, before the big, election, so they can kind of save face, present a new face, and that guy just gets Rishi Sunak? Is that how it'll be? Who knows? Who can say? Let me at least do a little bit of the play-by-play of what happened. In a May 7th round of elections for local council seats in England and seats in the semi-autonomous legislatures of Wales and Scotland, Starmer's Labour Party lost big. It not only hemorrhaged 1,000 council seats in England, but also it lost its grip on the Welsh legislature, which it had controlled for 27 years. The Reform UK Party, which is led by Nigel Farage, boo, tomatoes, fuck that guy. Definitely, they won nearly 1,300 local seats in England and made huge gains in Scotland and came second in Wales. So that's unfortunate. That's, like I said, it's a bad sign, in my opinion, of what's to come in the future. But I mean, hey, we will cross those bridges when they come up. There's more details here that I feel like I'm more or less covered. So let's go ahead and move on. Let's go ahead and take it to the States. We got another man down in the Trump admin, or Trump orbit. Not admin. It's part of the Trump administration. I can say that. Maybe not cat. Whatever. Anyway. I'm tripping over my words. I'm in the weeds. I'm gonna take a little water break. But this next story comes from NBC News. I fear that I'm failing in my hydration quest. I need to keep drinking more water. It's still, but hey, we're working on it. One gulp at a time. Dear Marty, I said Dear Marty, shut up, Isaiah. Dr. Marty Makary, which I gotta say, that has a nice ring to it if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Dr. Marty Makary is out as FDA commissioner. Well, I'm barely gonna get to say it. Dr. Marty Makary resigned as commissioner of the Food and Drug Administration on Tuesday in the fourth high-profile departure of a member of the Trump administration this year. He's a great doctor, and he was having some difficulty, but he's going to go on, and he's going to do well, Trump said of Makary on Tuesday afternoon. Damn. Happy trails to you. Oh, man, from True Social. Let's see. Kyle Diamantis, the FDA's top food regulator, would take over as acting commissioner. Diamantis is a lawyer and does not have a medical degree. So I love that. I love that he got a promotion and he's just breaking, strides in field careers to make it happen for good old Donald Trump. Of course, our emperor clad in orange knows best. Oh, this is a random aside, but this just popped into my brain. Apparently some sculptor or whatever made a golden Donald Trump statue. So that's awesome. It's got him with his fist up, and it's supposed to be in commemoration of his assassination, that he survived. But it's man, it really does not look like that. It's like a yassified, alpha giga chad golden version, and they definitely shaved off some pounds. I mean, I get it. You're gonna put your best foot forward for a golden statue, of course. But But I mean, it does not look cute. It does not look good. But hey, so it goes. NBC News reported last week that Trump was considering canning Makary after months of dissatisfaction with some of his work at the FDA. Last Tuesday, the FDA announced that it had authorized fruit-flavored vapes for adults in the U.S. following months of pressure from Trump and the industry. Bringing back fruit-flavored. Try saying this 5 times fucking fast, okay? Fruit-flavored vapes and e-cigarettes was a key campaign promise Trump made in 2024. I love that it was shit like this that like got like independents like on board with Trump. Like, yeah, man, he's gonna bring back fucking the mango flavor, okay, bro? So yeah, I'm voting for fucking 45 to be 47. All right, vape nation, okay. But you know what? I feel like I have had this conversation before, whether we're talking about like cannabis related stuff or we're talking tobacco stuff. I generally am on the side of the vapors, of the smokers, okay? Because I don't get it. I feel like it is one of those things where we are trying to make this in-run concession between politicians and businesses, and they say, hey, this is directly affecting the kids. Don't you get it? This like Mario squishing a strawberry mushroom thing is like, it's confusing the kids. Dude, okay, whatever. I guess, like, but I just don't get taking the flavors away. I can understand, at least sometimes in the packaging, make them look less provocative or colorful or whatever. Make them look boring as fuck. But guess what? At the end of the day, kids are smart enough to understand what the fuck is inside them. It's just a matter of getting their hands on the shit, right? Like, well, what are we really doing other than just disrupting the customer and their attempt to buy it, which they will buy the shit if they can, right? So, I don't know. I mean, hey, I'm glad that they got their fruit flavored vapes. It's worth selling the country out sometimes, I suppose, right? It's a capitalist society. Do what you can. I'm really just like, it's just funny. It's just funny that like Bitcoin guys, vape guys, all the guys that you do kind of realize are low key the same guy until you realize, like, wait, I'm not that guy. And it's like, no, you're in the same room with them. It just is what it is. But hey, this guy was like, hey, we'll relent and we'll make sure we get that to happen. So yay. Makary had also faced scrutiny from Republican lawmakers on Capitol Hill after he promised during his confirmation process to conduct an FDA review of the safety of the abortion medication mifepristone. Republicans have been pushing to reverse a Biden-era rule that allows mifepristone to be mailed and dispensed via telehealth, not just in person. The Supreme Court this month temporarily allowed mifepristone to continue to be accessible nationwide after a lower court restricted access to in-person patients only. So yeah, Makary was a longtime surgeon at Johns Hopkins Hospital and is a professor emeritus at the Johns Hopkins School of Medicine, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, it seemed that he was a bit hesitant on making that abortion thing happen with the mifepristone. I guess give him credit for that. He kind of knew when to say when in a way that it's like, this is too damaging to my career, because I don't think these guys have morals. I think when you sign on the dotted line to be a part of this administration, you know what you're doing. You're running with the demons. So I think for him, it was just saving face. And for Trump, he's like, my time in power is limited. I want all of my, things to happen. I want my will manifested, and you're not making it happen. You might be doing a little bit. You might be like treading water here. You might be even getting the people their fucking mango vapes, but it's not enough. I want mifepristone, deemed illegal, unsafe, whatever. So I imagine maybe the next guy is going to be poked and prodded to and shit. He doesn't even have a medical background. So, at least the acting guy. So I love that. Yay, that. All right, we're going to move on. That's that for now. From the Associated Press, ship operator and employee are charged in crash that caused the deadly collapse of Baltimore Bridge. Prosecutors announced criminal charges Tuesday in the deadly 2024 collapse of Baltimore's Francis Scott Key Bridge, accusing a Singapore-based ship operator of intentionally relying on an improper fuel pump that contributed to the ruinous crash and then lying about it to investigators. Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche called it a preventable tragedy of enormous consequence. The indictment names Synergy Marine Pte Limited, based in Singapore, and Synergy Maritime Pte Limited, based in Chennai, India. And I'm going to be totally butchering this name up, so I'm just going to say sorry in advance. Radnarishnan Kardnik Nair, 47, an Indian national who was technical superintendent for the Dali container ship, was also charged. Synergy Marine expressed disappointment and accused the U.S. Justice Department of turning the accident into a crime. Nair's lawyer, David Gerger, says his client thinks about the accident every day, but he certainly did not cause it. The Dali, bound for Sri Lanka, lost power twice in a 4-minute span as it moved to the sea from the port of Baltimore, causing it to crash into the Key Bridge in the early hours of March 26, 2024. Investigators say a loose wire in a switchboard likely caused the first power loss that led to its steering failure. After regaining power, the ship found itself in trouble again. The Dali turned to a certain pump to supply fuel to two generators, but the pump was not designed to automatically restart after the first blackout, so a second blackout occurred, the indictment said. If the Dali had the proper fuel pumps, according to the indictment, the vessel would have regained power in time to safely get under the bridge. Instead, it crashed into a supporting column of the bridge, killing 6 construction workers who had been filling potholes. The government alleges that the same problem occurred with the same type of pump on 2 of the Dali's sister ships. The companies and Nair are charged with conspiracy, misconduct, causing death, failing to immediately inform the U.S. Coast Guard of a hazardous condition, obstructing the National Transportation Safety Board, and making false statements. The Synergy companies are also charged with misdemeanors for the release of pollutants into the Pacific. I'm sure I'm messing that one up. Pacisco River, including shipping containers and their contents. The FBI's investigation focused on the vessel's operations and whether the crew knew of critical systems issues before leaving port. The NTSB found that 2 electrical blackouts disabled the controls of the huge cargo ship before it crashed into the bridge. The ship had experienced 2 blackouts in port a day earlier, but Synergy did not investigate or report those as required and provided false information to the NTSB, the government alleges. So this was one of the things that once I heard it, I was like, yeah, this is what I kind of knew. Like, why we wait on the stories if we're like fully, like we have our speculations or whatever. Because I did remember too that there was another situation, and this took place on July of 2016, where the Dali collided with the berth at a container terminal in the port of Antwerp, Belgium. Now you could say, hey, these aren't related, and you can't legally do that. That's why they're not doing that here. But for me, as, just a spectator, a guy in an armchair, whatever, you're saying, hey, maybe there is something to be said here. Maybe it's like there was some criminal negligence at play that led to this malfunction. I'm not saying, we should be blaming the workers. On the end of the day, they're doing the best they can to kind of, get this product from point A to point B, whatever, rinse and repeat. But it's definitely on the people who, own the ship, who are making the fucking profit, who are funding any repairs and maintenance. And it's like, hey, if this is addressed, if you're alerted to this, you should be fixing it. And if you're not fixing it, then yeah, that's a criminal fucking issue if and when shit hits the fucking fan. Let's see here. Maryland officials estimate it could cost between $4.3 billion and $5.2 billion to replace the bridge, which is expected to be open to traffic in late of 2030. The altered skyline is a constant state of this tragedy, Paul said, guy I kind of skipped his quote earlier. Oh, well. The indictment follows a $2.25 billion lawsuit between the state of Maryland, Synergy Marine, and Grace Ocean Private Limited, the Singapore-based ship owner. The deal was announced in April, but the amount was not disclosed until Tuesday. The lawsuit claimed the crash was the result of negligence, mismanagement, and the reckless operation of a vessel that was not seaworthy and should never have left port. Plaintiffs included the owners of a cargo ship, owners of of cargo aboard the ship, and local governments seeking damages for economic losses. Some portions of the lawsuit remain unresolved. All right. So yeah, that is the state of the Dali. That is the state of the Francis Scott Key Bridge as of right now. Now I feel like it's been a while. We haven't talked about some bad food, and that's not to mean or to say that it hasn't been happening. It's just, look, my constant running excuse for this season is there's a war going on. Okay, there's a war going on. There's a war in Iran. All right, look at the Dow. I don't know. So there's a lot going on. I miss some things. All right, I'm not a perfect person. You know this, and we know this. But yeah, we got to talk about some bad pizza, unfortunately. But yeah, let's go ahead and take our last break, and then we'll go ahead and close it out from a food recall story coming out of People. Well, People magazine. I guess if you've consumed this pizza, then it is coming out of you, maybe, unfortunately. But we'll get to that. Yummy, yummy. All right. Frozen pizzas sold at Aldi and Walmart recalled for salmonella concerns. Here's what to know. The U.S. Department of Agriculture's Food Safety and Inspection Service, or FSIS, has issued a health alert for several food items, including frozen pizzas sold at Aldi and Walmart stores. The FSIS announced on Thursday, April 30th, that various meat and poultry products, including those used in certain frozen pizzas containing recalled FDA-regulated dairy products, have been recalled due to salmonella concerns. Then they go through what salmonella is. You can just Google that. I don't really feel like reading that live, actually, before I cook some food. But let's see here. The items that have been recalled include 2 types of Mama Cosie's frozen pizzas sold at Aldi, the biscuit crust sausage and cheese breakfast pizza, and the biscuit crust cooked pork belly crumbles. That sounds yummy. Cooked bacon topping, pepper and onion breakfast pizza, both with Best By dates between February 7th and February 26th. Now, there's various foods here. It's kind of like food recalls through the year so far, I guess you could say. But the FSIS noted in their initial announcement that other products would be added to the list, and a wider range of products affected were added in a May 1st update. Going through some Walmart brands here. Great Values Thin Crust Chicken Bacon Ranch. Stuffed Crust Chicken Bacon Ranch and Stuffed Crust Chicken Bacon Ranch. That's a lot of CBR. Frozen pizzas all sold at Walmart. The first 2 have Best By dates between February 11th and March 8th of 2026, while the latter has a Best By date of April 13th, 2026. Culinary Circle's Ultra Thin Crust Chicken Bacon Ranch Frozen Pizza was also added to the list. This product has a Best By date of February 19th, 2026. Pork King Sour Cream and Onion Pork Rinds and Party Size Sour Cream and Onion Pork Rinds, which have Best By dates ranging from June to August 26, have also been recalled. Can I pause here? Are you a pork rind enjoyer, dear listener? Because I gotta say, I haven't had a pork rind in a very, very long time. And I don't think I'm a fan. But can I say that much like a lot of foods that I don't like, there is a moment of I'm eating this food and I'm just going to puke it up because I'm actually sick, type of situation. That happened with me in pork rinds. I had just gotten a flu shot, I believe, and then I was like, oh, I'm not feeling so hot, and I was like, I should eat something, and I went to a gas station and got some pork rinds, and the next thing you know, I'm puking it up. And maybe I blame pork rinds for that, and that's not right. That's not fair. But also, they're very crunchy, and it's just kind of giving pork essence. I've never really enjoyed that. I like pork. I have no problem with that. But it just feels like I'm eating a vibe. I never want my potato chip to feel like that, right? I mean, that is a potato chip, no, but you want to really enjoy it. To me, it's just I'm eating crunchy noise. I do like the crunch though. So yeah, but sound off. Let me know. Are you a pork rind enjoyer? But even so, don't fuck with the pork king sour cream and onion pork rinds. You feel me? All right, be careful. Buyer beware. I mean, really, that goes without saying. All these, even though looking through this and actually reading it out loud, I see that most of these, you shouldn't have had these in your fridge by now. If you consumed them, I guess you're a trooper. Maybe they were totally fine the one you got. I hope. Knock on some wood. But let me not speculate. If you do have these, obviously you know the protocol, you know the drill. But it's been a while. Throw them out. Throw it out. Chuck it. Or take it back to your store that you got it from. Hopefully you got your receipt or whatever. You show them this box and you say, hey, I found out that this has a recall, and hopefully they give you an exchange or your money back or some shit. I don't know. But yeah, buyer beware. Be careful out there. But that's it. That's all I have for today. I was kind of thinking, I know, it was a Cash Patel had like some fucking hearing. Maybe I can pull it up. Cash Patel hearing. Boom, boom, boom. Here we go. I'm just going to read this off because it was interesting. I literally just saw a clip of it before I went on. This is NBC News. Cash Patel and Democratic Senator trade alcohol-related allegations at congressional hearing. I love that. I love a couple of cats just going at it. Meow, meow. No, you're a drunk. No, you're a drunk. That's not true. Oh, that's an allegation. That's an allegation. Like, yeah. Why don't you guys take each other out to eat? Go to the Poodle Club. FBI Director Cash Patel got into a heated exchange with Senator Chris Van Hollen, was a Democrat from Maryland, at a Senate hearing Tuesday that included accusations of overconsumption of alcohol and day drinking, aka having a good time. The remarkable back and forth took place during a Senate Appropriations Subcommittee discussion of the FBI's budget and ended with the two agreeing to challenge drinking audit. Oh my God. At this point, like, I know that I'm sure from like the Democratic angle, you think you're standing up for the man. You're standing up to like evil guys like this. Da da da. But it's like, brother, the audience is just asking you guys to kiss at this point. Like, what are you talking about? Like, and once again, it is the barky style that I do think that Trump kind of respects and he likes. That it's like, hey, don't take it lying down. You know what I mean? Throw some shit back at him. That being said, I mean, Bondi tried that shit. It worked for a while until it didn't. I do think, I feel like if I had money on anyone else, like the next big guy to go, it's got to be Cash, right? Because like Trump, I think actively doesn't like him. Like he doesn't like at least aspects about him, right? But I don't know. Who can say? But if I was a betting man, if I had money to put, money to spend, money to burn, if I was in the prediction market game, so to speak, this guy's got to go, right? He's got to go. But anyway, I mean, I don't know. They had a funny back and forth. By all means, look that up. But that happened. That's more news. There you go. A little bonus there for you. Throw it at you. But that's the episode. If you'd like to help out, support the effort, I do have a Patreon. Patreon.com/Isaiah News. Become a newsie today. Free ways to hit me up, IsaiahNews1@gmail.com. Feel free to follow me or the podcast on any of the socials. Subscribe to the YouTube. Follow on TikTok. Follow on Spotify. Follow on Apple Podcasts. Wherever you like to listen. Leave a like. Leave a cool comment. Sharing is always caring. 5 stars on Spotify. 5 stars on Apple Podcasts are always appreciated. But you don't got to do any of that. I really just appreciate the fact that there is someone on the other end of this actually listening to my dumbass talk. And some of y'all listen and tune in every day, or you catch up and you keep up with the Joneses. That's so cool. I think it's so rad, and I love that so freaking much. And I think you're a super dope, wonderful person. And hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love ya. Bye-bye. Mwah.